Welcome back, all you Fabricans and Fleshbags, to the super, not funny show, SUPER-CAST. I am Ode Poupée, your resident Fabricant and comment extraordinaire on all things pop culture, and I'm joined by my good friend, the anime enthusiast, video game aficionado, and just lover of superheroes, my good friend LADI. LADI, how you doing today, sir?
I'm great, man. How are you doing?
You know, it's near the end of the work weekend. We got so much to look forward to, like non superhero related, but going to see Fast 9 tomorrow at the theater. So I'm looking
Good
forward
luck.
to that. But besides that, just enjoying the week. So there's been in the world of superheroes, which of course all you people who haven't tuned in before. You know, on SUPER-CAST, Lottie and I, we sit and we talk about superhero things in the pop culture space. So that's TV, movies, video games, anything like that. We just like to dive in there and see what's going on with superhero stuff. So that's what we're going to do today. And of course, on the SUPER-CAST every week, we always like to start everything off by jumping into the news of the week. And nowadays, because between Marvel on Disney Plus and DC and then Netflix and Amazon Prime, everybody's in the superhero game, so there's always news to discuss, and we're gonna jump into it right now. So Lottie, we'll go with the slower news first. What surprise, it's DC news. So it's though, am I wrong? It's a surprise. The only thing
Yeah.
I can think that, besides the fact that I think Batman: The Long Halloween just released, the animated Long Halloween just released, and I have not seen it. I don't think I probably will see it until it comes on to HBO Max. But when that happens, I'm sure I'll let y'all know what I think about it. But besides that, we do know that DC is hard at work. DC, they're hard at work on new films. They're just got a lot of stuff in production right now. So, what we got this week was just a bunch of set photos, just to let us know they're working on shit. So, I guess the real question we're just going to ask ourselves: what do we think about these set photos? In particular, one of my favorite things I saw this week was the Shazam family cast photo, where we see the Marvel family. Can't call them Marvels, I guess, because of copyrights, but whatever the hell.
Yeah.
Because of that. But we got to see Shazam and all of the other 5 kids in their Shazammed out costumes, and so I don't know. Before I say anything else, what did you think about those costumes? What they were looking like?
First of all, Megan Good looks amazing.
As always.
Yeah, she's looking amazing, by the way. And I love the costumes. You already know how much I love the movie. You know.
Yeah, Shazam was awesome.
Yeah.
It you know what? It pained me because I saw it twice in the theater, and of course I own it on Blu-ray because that's how I roll. But I thought it was awesome, and not a ton of other people did. But fortunately, they didn't spend. I think it was a $60 million budget, and they made like 350 million off of it. So they made money, and that's why we're getting a part 2.
It's
Um,
it's one of those movies that I try to tell people because a lot of people ask me about it, and I'm like, no, guys, like really, it is a good movie. It's like the Sonic movie. People are like so like, oh my god, this movie's gonna be bad, and I'm like, no, guys, it's an actual good movie. And they're like, no way, and I'm like, no, it really is a good movie. Shockingly, you know,
yeah,
and it's this movie. This movie is a really good example of like a movie that everybody was like expecting it not to look good. No one knows who Shazam is because the one thing DC doesn't do a very good job of, they don't do a very good job of highlighting their lesser known characters. So when people see this guy, they just think they just think he looks dumb. By the way,
yeah.
they just think he looks
And
dumb.
he's supposed to be goofy looking, but
Yeah.
these guys look fucking badass.
Oh yeah.
Can we
Yeah.
just call that? They look
Yeah.
badass.
Yeah. They look
Oh
great.
man, like the new they've kind of upgraded the suits. In the DC universe, they're sort of following the Superman thing. You know, that kind of bezel, diamond bezel design
Armor,
across the fabric. Less weird, ridiculous padding, and it's more subtle ways to kind of highlight the physique. You have like one person is new this time around. Mary, you'll notice Mary Marvel. She's that looks the most like Shazam.
Yeah.
In fact, this time she is played by the actress who played Mary in the first one. So she's actually she's playing doing double duty, if you will, in the new one. Everyone else was a kid, so they can't play their adult selves. But Mary was actually about to be 18, so she's playing herself now. So I think the subtle little changes between each of the people, it's just really nice looking. So I
like how they're using deeper. They're using deeper like colors instead of like the more bright. They're going more deeper. It's like the Man of Steel thing, the deeper colors, going for probably the more epic, than colorful. You know what I mean?
And they got little flourishes to kind of differentiate each of them, and so the fact that they, and the director did this more or less to keep people from leaking set photos. So this is an official look, and it's very smart because as you'll note as we move on to the next, set photos, what we're going to be seeing. Which we saw. The next one was the first look at Supergirl that's going to be in the Flash movie. So we and our details we have about the Flash are it's probably multiverse, maybe Flashpoint.
As long as he doesn't stare at her creepily like he did the chick.
You're talking about
in the Snyder.
Iris, yeah.
Oh my God.
So we get some pictures, and these are. It's not the picture we see of Supergirl. It is the suit, but it's also clearly a wire harness, and no cape, because I do believe the cape's going to be CG. And so we look close at it again, and we see that once again.
Oh, they're CG in the cape.
Yeah, they're CGing the cape, and then they're going to CG out the wire harness and all that stuff. But again, it's going to be Flashpoint. So we're seeing an alternate super girl, or maybe a world where the Supergirl and not Superman, became the greatest hero on the planet. Not sure about that. We can only speculate. But this is this is not an official photo. This is somebody taking a picture on the set, and that's kind of the theme of these things, that we get to see these photos, but they're not official. These are people taking a picture. Like, for instance, related to Flash. And by the way, Supergirl looks great. But that's the unfortunate thing about set photos, is you don't actually get to see what they're going to look like with the movie magic attached. It looks like she's suspended
from a rubber suit.
Yeah, she in a rubber suit suspended from some wires. So I expect it to look better when they get a chance. Also, from another set photo, an unofficial set photo, just a very, far away, clearly they're between takes, picture of Michael Keaton on the set. It's not on the set, but it's on at St. Paul's Cathedral in London, where they are shooting Flashpoint. Or Flash, whatever, the Flash movie. And all we see is gray-haired, we presume, Bruce Wayne. And as soon as we saw that, everyone's like, "Oh shit, who? Gray-haired Bruce Wayne? We've seen that before, right?"
Yeah, we're getting old man Bruce. And what does that mean? You already know what that means for me. I'm losing my fucking mind right now, because you know how much I love Batman Beyond. You know how much I love Batman Beyond.
It could be.
Please.
It could be. Well, in Flash and in Flashpoint, you don't get to see Batman Beyond in Flashpoint, the comic book, or the animated movie based on the comic, but you see an alternate universe where Thomas Wayne is Batman and not Bruce, because Bruce is murdered
Mm-hmm.
instead of him. But there's no reason why a Flashpoint couldn't feature an old man Bruce, and that's got to be. Look, let's be honest. Nostalgia is big right now. That is part of the reason why Michael Keaton has been brought back into this, to kind of revitalize, part of the DCEU. Flash has been intending to be made for like 5 years now, so they're finally making it. Of course, if they say Michael Keaton's going to be there and they show a picture of this, we don't know. There's no context here. We're all speculating. But whatever it is, Michael Keaton's clearly he's going to come back as Bruce Wayne, old man Bruce. So, and you just geeked out, and we have zero idea what he's actually doing in this. So, yeah, hey, whatever it is, looks cool, and we're in a drought, man. We're taking whatever drops of water they plan to give us.
Yeah.
Going back to Shazam though, one last bit of DC set photos. One of my favorite actors. I hate to say venerable. It's a bad way to say somebody's old, but Helen Mirren, she's been in the game for a hot minute. She's been an actor professionally since the '60s, and you would know her. She was in the Fast and Furious movie. She's on in Shaw from Hobbs and Shaw, and also she's the mom there. She was in Red. Basically she's awesome. Like Helen Mirren's awesome. I was so happy to hear that she had been cast to be in Shazam 2. I think it's called Fury of the Gods. I was very happy to hear about that. Even happier to find out that she had been cast as a villain. Yeah. So,
she plays characters like that.
Yeah,
very, very well.
So she's going to be a bad guy, and so we got to see some leaked set photos. Again, not official, but they show her in costume, and she's got, I don't want to say Atlantean. It reminds me of Atlantean, but that little tiara she has on. But it also reminds me somewhat of the Amazonians, or even Asgardians. So there's something going on. Her name is Hespera, I believe, and she is actually playing an original character. This is not a character from the comics. They created this character.
It looks almost Greek.
It could be. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know, but she looks. I just have to say, she looks great. She looks I say it's sort of Atlantean because of the way that head, the tiara is, but that's probably not a tiara. That's probably a diadem actually.
So her name is Hespera.
Yeah, and she.
Okay, let me look it up.
And I want to say she's the daughter of some god or something like that. So I'm assuming she's a demigod or a goddess herself, but she looks awesome. I just want to say it straight up, without
Greek.
Yeah. Okay. So she's a Greek goddess or demigoddess, whatever.
Yep. Hespera, Greek mythology, one of the Hesperides.
I have no idea.
I have no.
I'm assuming she's got powers, and because Shazam draws his power from
Evening Star. Oh, she's what's his name, sister? What's that Greek god? The Greek god of night.
I don't know.
Greek.
Wikipedia, help us.
Okay, I'm about to look it up. Greek god of night. It's something. His name's obvious. Nyx.
Okay.
There's Nyx. Because I'm trying to remember the whole pantheon. There's Greek, Nyx. Damn. His name is very, very obvious. I just can't think of it.
That guy. That's what I say.
Yeah. So she's part of that. She's part of that pantheon. Mm-hmm. Nyx, Thanatos, Hypnos. All the gods of darkness and all that stuff. gods of chaos and darkness. She's part of that pantheon.
Okay.
She might be like the lesser one, but she's part of that pantheon.
Mm-hmm.
So because okay, it makes sense.
Well, either way, she's a bad guy. So, and it's
Yeah.
we see her opposite Zachary Levi there. So clear, they're gonna sit and have words, if you will. Hey, like I said, she looks good. I know she's an awesome actor. So expect nothing less than the best from this. I was very excited to hear that. So I can't wait to
Hmm.
see some actual in action stuff. It's gonna be a minute. They're currently shooting, so you expect, at least, especially for kind of a blockbuster like this, you expect a few months worth of shooting, and then they got to do post and all that other stuff before we see it. So maybe by the end of the year we'll see a teaser, because this is coming out next year. So it all looks good. DC, keep on chugging along, man. I want to see some of this shit. I'm happy to see, especially for Flash, because Flash has been in development hell for years now. It's so nice to see them actually filming, making things happen. And of course,
Hmm.
we both love Shazam. It's really happy to see that they are making some forward progress. So let's get it together, DC. Let's go. I'm ready. I got my tickets are yours to as soon as y'all put something out. So all right, moving on
Yeah, I
to
got it.
our next. We're gonna move to Marvel news on this rather light news week. Um, let's talk about Loki. In particular, there was the official Loki Twitter account put out this little teaser. I don't even want to call it explainer. It's just like this minute long thing featuring Sylvie, who is that? We're gonna find out later on in the episode, but spoiler, Lady Loki. Just kind of showing the director and everything of the show, talking about it, and the actress who plays Sylvie. I think it's Sophie De Martino, who plays her, and also Tom Hiddleston talking about her. Why does this matter at all? I think I drew your attention to it. I kind of marked it down because I noticed, and other people online have noticed, that there are some spoilers in there. Not huge spoilers, not giant spoilers, but you said it yourself when you say, "Wow, I saw it, there's some spoilers in there." We definitely see some teasers for maybe the next episode or two, related
Hmm.
to Sylvie, aka Lady Loki. And so I wanted to draw your attention to a few things that I noticed in there, and what they may mean for what's going on in Loki. So the first thing I noticed was that she was Sylvie being brought in by a couple of the enforcers, the TVA enforcers, and she had on the collar. And so the question that's raised by there is, first of all, is that what's going to happen, or is this a flashback to what happened before? Um,
Hmm.
and it also raised the question, how the hell did she get away?
Yeah.
If it's in the past, how did she get away? Because we saw Loki, he got away. He escaped, and everything, got the collar off. Was able to get the collar off of him and everything like that. And then he gave up because he didn't know how to get out of the TVA.
Yeah.
So if that was happening in the past, how did she escape? I wonder about that sort of thing. And is that what you were when you saw her being brought in? Is that what you were thinking about? Did that come to your mind?
Yeah. Some of the stuff when I was watching it, I was saying to myself, okay. When I saw her as a little girl, because my mind immediately went to, you know, like you said, spoiler. And then I was like, oh, okay, so now this makes sense. It makes sense why she knows how to navigate she knows how to navigate the place a little bit. She
Right.
kind of knew where she was going, and her whole plot set because they took her as a little girl. They took her away as a little girl, and
Which
you can
is
see why.
isn't that fucked up though? Just
Yeah,
think about that.
it's
That's
just yeah.
yeah. I saw the because we don't have any real context. It's really just they're showing that she's brought through the little thing, and one of the enforcers kind of leading her in there. She doesn't have a collar on. Presumably, she doesn't have enough magic to be a threat. But I still watched that part, and I was like, well, that's fucked. It's not as fucked up enough that it's fucked up enough that a rando grown up can just, in the moment of free will, do something that these self appointed, custodians of time decide isn't okay, and then they get hauled before some kangaroo court and then summarily executed. It's bad enough that that happens, but for a kid, for
Yeah,
a
for a
kid,
little kid.
and
Yeah.
so I'm being. I asked this. I remember I asked this question maybe the first or second, probably the first episode when we were talking about it, and I asked, "Are the TVA bad guys?"
Yeah.
I'm serious. Are they the bad guys here? I don't know yet. But I feel like if that's really real, what went on there, that's not some fake memory. That's not the context actually shows something different. If they are literally bringing little kids in and executing them, they could be the worst evil in the fucking Marvel universe. They really seriously could be. I every time I see that, I've watched that a few times. I'm just like, TVA, what are y'all doing? Like, for real, I can't even be on your side on this one.
I mean, I kind of started noticing that from the first episode. Like, I'm like, the TVA is just, I mean, yeah, the TVA is not this super nice, good people. I'm like, they're honestly, like you said, they're villains. I mean, what makes you think that you have the right to destroy trillions of lives just because the timeline doesn't go the way you want to go? And then, and then on top of it, what could cause somebody to be a variant is just them being late to work.
Yeah,
They're not a terrible being. They just made a mistake. But according to
it's not even a
TVA, oh
that's the
no,
thing. It's not even a mistake. They just
yeah,
choose to do something, or something something happens. They make a choice differently, whatever the reason, and then things change, and that's cause for execution. I'm like, anybody could do that. Like, it's the implications are too strong there. So I don't know if that's what Marvel is intending, but that's where my mind went with it. So,
yeah.
but I did, I like that this little teaser. I think it was illuminating, at least the spoilery parts about what maybe we can expect from Sylvia in the future. And of course, we'll be talking about her a little more later because she figures in pretty prominently in this third episode of Loki. And finally, just getting in under the wire, just barely before we went on, the Shang-Chi trailer, a full trailer, the first full trailer that they have for the upcoming Marvel martial arts superhero movie. I mean, it's hard. I want to say it's a superhero movie, and it is, but it's also very much, a kung fu movie too. So, well, we watched the trailer, but we watched the trailer beforehand, and so what did you think? What was your thoughts on this trailer they just dropped?
Bruce Lee will be proud. The way kung fu movies have changed to now that we're giving these kung fu movies $200 million budgets is just flat out amazing. It's I really enjoy what I saw in the trailer. I'm getting real Tekken 7 vibes. If anybody who's a fan of Tekken will know, the main characters of the game is a father and a son, and the father and the son throughout the games are fighting each other, and it comes to a head in Tekken 7. And I'm getting real vibes of like Kazuya and Mishima. I mean, Kazuya and Ihachi vibes of them just fighting each other. And like I said, from what I saw from the trailer, I enjoy it. The rings, the CGI that they did with the rings is pretty cool. Instead of the rings being on the finger, like usually how the Mandarin usually has them, they're around the arms, which is really nice change, by the way. Really cool. I really like how it is.
Well, I was
And
gonna say, did you note? I noticed something though. I noticed something about that in the trailer. There's a part
so,
the part later on in the near the end of the trailer where the whole movie is clearly setting up that Shang-Chi is not his father's son in the sense that his
hmm
moral compass is different. He doesn't
hmm
want to follow in his dad's footsteps as this kind of warlord slash terrorist leader. Um, he doesn't want to have any of that life, but he's pulled into it anyway. And
hmm
so at the end, he's gonna have to fight his dad. And there's a scene where he and his dad are sort of like locked in this like little energy. Their energies are
yeah,
locked in. Did you
yeah,
know?
that's where I was gonna ask. Did he develop his own rings?
Did you notice that? I was like, did you notice that? Like, so his dad's got the rings on his arms, but
hmm
Shang Chi's got like they almost like brass knuckles. They look like it because they're close together. But could he have
hmm
had 10 rings on his fingers?
hmm
You think I'm on point there? Because it was
Yeah.
there's a different. He had golden light. His dad had blue light, and they were pulling at each other, and they were
hmm
clearly coming off of his fingers as opposed to the
hmm
arms for his dad. So I thought that which was awesome. The way that was so good. Anyway, I'm sorry I interrupted you. You were still saying stuff.
No, no, no. You didn't interrupt me. No, it's really good. Like I really like what they're doing with this movie because I really like how they started adding more Asian or Eastern culture into superheroes now, not just with Asia, but also Africa. But with Asia, you know how they did with the Wolverine, they added into the Wolverine, and it just kept going on. So now they're, like you said, it's a technically it's a superhero movie, but I'm gonna just say it's a celebration of the hard work that people like Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, Sammo Hung, and
But I'm
Jet
gonna say
Li,
Michelle Yeoh, who is in this
Michelle
movie,
Yeoh. Yeah, they all put in,
Yes.
yeah, all they put in hard work to make the kung fu movie genre. For them to finally make a $200 million budget for a kung fu movie, it's just beautiful. I'm pretty sure Bruce Lee is in heaven right now, looking down, saying, "You have finally honored my
Wait,
family."
you know what he's doing? He's doing the guy thumbs up.
Yep,
The guy.
yep,
What's the
yep.
guy? The might guy
Mike
thumbs up.
guy, yep. I approve. I really love what they're doing with this with the movie. It looks really good.
Right.
Looks really good.
Yeah. My thing is, I've read. In fact, I read years ago. I bought the Marvel. Remember they used to do those thick books of like black and white comics. I bought the
Mhm.
Master of Kung Fu one, so that's Shang-Chi is the Master of Kung Fu,
Mhm.
and I really I love kung fu movies. I mean, you sit me down in front of like a 70s, you know, martial arts film. I love them all, even no matter how terrible they actually are. That's my jam. Everyone, that's of you spend any time watching any kind of action movies has seen Jackie Chan, have seen Sammo Hung or
Mhm.
Donnie Yen or Jet Li. We've watched all this. We've watched all this stuff. Michelle Yeoh. We love that stuff. And so, to take, what was clearly a kung fu exploitation character and to treat him fairly and then weave him into the the kind of the mystical super science slash superhero world that's in Marvel. And wonder, is that going to work? In a world with a Thor and Iron Man and Wakanda, is a dude that's just really good at kung fu going to work? And I just like to say, based on that trailer, fuck yeah, it's going to work. Hell,
Yep.
yeah, it's gonna work. Did you see Fin Fang Foom in there? Fin Fang
Yeah.
Foom is in. I don't know if that's himself, but it's one of his race is in this motherfucking movie. There's a dragon in this bitch. Come on,
Yeah.
the
It
Abomination was in there, and Shang-Chi's gonna beat his ass. That's all I'm saying. This is a dude that was going toe to toe with the Hulk, making him look stupid, right?
Yep.
Hulk had to Hulk out some more to put his ass down in the Incredible Hulk movie. Shang-Chi's gonna be in there in a cage match with him, and I guarantee he's gonna whoop that ass. That's what I'm talking about. That whole trailer was fire. Whole trailer was fire, start to finish, every bit of it. The Mandarin looking masterful. All those fucking ninjas. He's putting the hurt on. They fighting on the sides of buildings. Michelle Yeoh looking like she jumped from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon into this movie. Though, what else you want? What do you want? How can anyone watch this and say that shit ain't gonna be fire?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it looks fucking amazing. I'm geeked. You hear it in my voice. I'm fucking geeked for this. I'm ready for this shit. September can't come soon enough. I'm ready to. I'm gonna be in my favorite seat in the Dolby Theater with my popcorn. I'm ready to see them throw some hands, cause that's all, and throw a Razor Fist, cause Home Dude was fighting Razor Fist on a fucking bus in San Francisco. Let's get it. Let's get it. I am fucking hyped for this. All right.
Yeah.
Let me calm down, cause that shit was fire.
Yeah, that shit was amazing.
Ugh. Cannot wait, man. This Marvel bringing a heat. They bringing a heat this year. I'm telling you. This that pandemic year, let's wipe that out of our heads, because they are giving us the heat in the last half of this year. Whew. All right. That's well, with that was the last bit of news. That's, like I said, small news week for this for superheroes this week, but it's all good. We geeked out over it. We said what we had to say. So, maybe we missed something. I don't know. I can't follow every single bit of news, but maybe we missed something that you guys think we should have covered. And if we did, you know what you can do? You can hit us up down in the comments. Let us know what you think we missed. And, of course, you can hit us up, supernotfunnyshow@gmail.com, or at supernotfunnys1 on Twitter to, let us know. And we'll check it out, see if we can include it on the next SUPER-CAST. So, with the news out of the way, I think we're going to go ahead and jump into what this episode's main topic is, which has been for the last couple of weeks, which is Loki. Loki on Disney Plus, the Marvel streaming show about our favorite god of mischief, and how he's dealing with being severely outclassed and outpowered, and kind of under the thumb of a really kind of possibly horrible bureaucratic despotic organization, something like that, possibly probably killing trillions of people every day. I'm just saying, it's
Possibly.
what's happening.
Probably.
But we're titling, we're calling this segment and this episode of the SUPER-CAST "Livin La Vida Loki," and it is extremely relevant to this whole episode, because it's not about nothing but Loki. Not one Loki, but two Lokis. But don't call her that. don't call her Loki. Call her Sylvie. So let's jump into this, Lottie. We both had a chance to check out the episode, and so let me hear before I run my mouth about it, because you know how I do. What did you think about episode 3 of Loki?
I utterly enjoyed this episode. I did. I liked how it starts off immediately right after how the first one ended, where he's running there. He runs into the portal. She ends up back in the TVA, and now she's trying to get to, I guess, the Guardians, and of course Loki interferes, and we all know how that went. Then they ended up going into another portal, because the chick that's considered herself the judge was about to kill both of them. Now they're on a planet that's about to end, and it gave them enough time to get to know each other. Loki. We pretty much the us audience. We pretty much know Loki. The whole point is that we're trying to get to know this woman, and we she peels back the layers a little bit of who she is. You know, you could see that her and Loki are definitely not the same person because, of course, Loki does like being the life of the party, as we saw in that one scene where he got drunk and started having fun, which blew their cover, by the way. And it's it was a really good episode. And one of the things I loved about the episode more is that she answered some questions that I know me and you had immediately. Do you want me to just go ahead and just
Well,
mention it?
not spoilers yet,
Yeah,
but
okay.
just
But it was a good little thing of like recapping it. I enjoyed the episode, enjoyed watching it, showing peeling back a little bit of the layers of who she is, figuring out what she calls herself now instead of calling herself Loki. And can I give a theory on that? Like,
about why she calls herself something other than
yeah,
Loki.
yeah.
Sure. I mean, I don't mind.
Remember how you talked about how Loki can literally change his gender? I believe this is like Marvel's way of like what's the word I'm trying to use, of adding like a little bit of LGBT
Well, yeah. There's. I mean, there is that. Well,
yeah.
I would call to, but I would call to your attention though the fact that Sylvie apparently was and maybe was a little girl. So there's
Oh yeah, but
so
but still
there's
he could have changed as a little girl too, because remember she gained her powers a little bit quicker than he did. She gained it on her own.
well she gained well she
Well,
gained
it was enchantment.
she
Yeah,
learned that on her own, but that's so she said. But because we got to remember that it's Loki, so everything could be a lie.
yeah. Everything could be
Everything
a
and
lie.
anything could be a lie. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
So
there's
it.
no. You're saying, were they kind of like smuggling in? I mean, possibly, but there. What better character than Loki? If again, I've said in previous episodes, Loki literally in the legends that these are all based on was pretty was all over the place too. Someone was mentioning, I think I forget, I was listening to like the Weekly Planet or something. They were like, yeah, well, in the legends he gives birth to this giant sea monster or some shit like that. I'm like, or snake, and I'm like, well, see, how can a dude give birth? So, but again, he's a fucking god. So
Yeah.
trying to bring gods down to the level of humans is all sorts of wrong. So he said it before. I'm a god. So I'm not a man. I'm a god. And I'm like, that makes sense. Now, to that end, could he have done that when he was younger? Any of the if the, and there someone actually mentioned like, well, maybe the reason why he didn't suspect that she may not be a female version of himself is because when he has changed genders before, that's what he looked like. So maybe that's a face he's had before. So the thing is, in the comics, he's been many things. So
Hmm.
trying to pin down Loki is stupid. I'm just gonna say it straight up. No matter how woke or unwoke or whatever the fuck it is anyone thinks about Marvel and what they're doing right now in their movies and comics or whatever, this is historical. Loki has never been pinned down for any of that shit. The
Yeah,
fact
yeah.
the fact
Loki.
the fact that he happens to present as male at any given time is probably a result of the writers, their particular outlook on the world. But in reality, Loki could be fucking anything, and he
Yeah.
has been anything before. So, yeah, anyone if one that wants to blow up Marvel's Twitter about that, maybe save your time for something else. I'm just saying maybe save your energy for something else because you're just not going to be correct about it. So, um, but anyway, sounds like you had a good time with the episode.
Hmm.
So, and you're as far as the way I looked at it, it's it was good. I'm just gonna say this. There's some people that are like, oh, this episode let me down, and I was like, this episode met my expectations, which have been tempered by the fact that I have not been jumping up and down excited about this show so far. I've enjoyed it. I've had good fun with it. I've not wanted to not watch it, but I'm not like super excited about it. And this episode pretty much was in line with the other ones. I think that you could look at it and say, well, this episode was treading water because it didn't really advance the story. Let's be honest, it didn't really advance the story.
Well, yeah,
because the story as last we saw it was we're tracking down this other Loki and we found him. All right, that advanced the story. The whole story seems to be the point of Loki, at least as far as narratively so far, is 2012 Loki is trying to get out from under the thumb of the TVA, so he's playing along with them to try to catch one of himself and looking for an opportunity to escape. Well, he fucking did that. I mean, he literally have done that. If that was the point of the whole show, and which I know it's not, but that was the presented the point, then what else is there to be done now? And so you have a whole episode where presumably they're on the run from the TVA and they're trying to find some place safe to be, etc. And they just kind of get stuck on this one planet, and the rest of it is exposition and character development, which is not bad. But in a series that has 6 episodes and you spend the third episode basically explaining who this Sylvie is, and having her and Loki kind of reluctantly teaming up and everything. If that's the whole point of the episode, I get it. But also, I kind of wonder, like, how are you spending your time? How do you spend the next 3 episodes bringing this to a conclusion, a satisfying conclusion that lives up to what Marvel has been doing up to this point? And
when you say it like that, I also do forget this is only a 6-episode show.
Yes.
So when you say it like that, it does begs the question. Because like you said, let's be honest, nothing really happened in this episode. I mean,
it was fun. I mean, it was fun. It was a fun
episode to watch. Yeah, it was a fun episode. There were a few things here and there that happened that eventually we're going to mention. But honestly, it's one of those episodes that if this was not being streamed and it was like we had to watch it, let's say this was like back in the early 2000s. Where you couldn't record anything. You couldn't record what is that thing with DVR and all that stuff, and you missed this episode. You'll be just fine. You'll be just fine.
I mean, at the most, you'll just be like, at the start of the next episode, you're like, why are they in danger? I'm like, oh, okay. It's like, but you just watch just watch the previously on. Watch the previously on.
The little recap will literally give you everything you need.
And I hate to say that about any show where there's an episode that's not vital, because that's unfortunate. But I don't know if I'll totally agree with you about that, because in a sense we need to understand why Sylvie is the greatest threat to the TVA at this moment, and that she she says she has a plan. Well, what the hell is that plan? How does Loki figure into it? Does he figure into? Is he just kind of hanging on for dear life during this? And we also got to see, I think one thing that was important in this episode was seeing that Loki isn't totally lame,
Because he actually can fight.
Yeah, not just that, but that he calls himself the better Loki, and in some ways he is better than she is, and in some ways she's better than he is, but she can't just like manhandle him. Like it seems like she, the way she handled all of the TVA groups, that somehow she was better than him, like all the way around, but it's clearly not true. And it leads me to believe that in that first episode, when he gets captured by the TVA, that is in fact a result of his ignorance and not the fact that he actually is not capable.
Yeah.
But so it's like I said, overall interesting. I liked the setting. I like I like a lot of the things that happen in the episode. The very ending, that ending sequence was pretty phenomenal. I could tell they spent the big Marvel bucks on that sequence. So, good usage of it. I just wish the rest of the episode was felt as vital as that, you know, 2 or 3 minute sequence. But I enjoyed it. I had fun with it though. So, that's our spoiler free thoughts on Loki episode 3. It's called Lamentus, and that's it's for the planet that they're on, and so I guess we can go ahead and jump into spoilers now. Talk about some more specifics. So if you haven't watched this episode, maybe stop listening right now, unless you just don't care. I'll just say the spoilers aren't going to ruin your day if you didn't watch this episode. You'll be okay. Yeah. It's not that big a deal. If you want to miss the spoilers and go experience for yourself, go watch the show and come back and we'll talk. So, all right, spoilers. All right, what's the first one you want to get into? I don't have a ton of this, but what's the first one you want to get into?
That everybody in the TVA are just variants.
Probably the biggest one. I wondered at the very beginning. I was like, why are we seeing this agent again? What's up with that? Like, she's normal. I was talking with Jen about this, and what occurred to me is that it is a lie. Like, so that's why I'm talking about this questioning about this evil this evil organization. It's a gigantic organization, obviously, full of people who don't know who they actually are.
Yeah,
and who have lived hundreds of years. Like Sylvie was like, I had to go, dig through 200 a couple hundred years worth of memories before I got one before she was in the TVA. So, she says everyone is a variant. Every single person in the TVA is a variant. Then this whole thing that we were created is bullshit, and that explains why they're regular. They're just regular people.
Yeah.
But of course, I also wonder, like, so the TVA only has humans in it? What the fuck is that? There's literally thousands of other kinds of beings in the universe. So, but
let's just say let's say that TVA deals with humanoids.
Yeah, no, I'll accept that there are parts of the TVA that deal with each particular world separately. I'm fine with that. I'm being facetious, really.
No, yeah, I know that is a good question because let's just be honest. Every single planet or everything that has come through the TVA so far have been humans / humanoids, because the Asgardians are not humans, but they're humanoid. That planet they went to is humanoid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I guess this part of the TVA only deal with beings that look like them, humanoids.
Yeah. Well,
and then there's the other ones.
There's also this notion, and it's borne out in Marvel mythology, that there's a lot of humanoids in the galaxy because of the Celestials and the way they kind of seeded life throughout. It does make you wonder, can the TVA fuck with the Celestial though? That's inquiring minds want to know, but we haven't seen. The only Celestial we've ever actually seen was Ego in Guardians 2. And I suspect that he wasn't even a very powerful one.
No.
So, but, yeah, no, everyone's a variant. They don't know who they are. They think they've been there for that. This explains why Eugene was like, oh, I've always been behind a desk. He has, since he came to the TVA. But, does that mean that if all variants aren't executed, well, why do some of them get executed and some of them get job offers? Who knows? Why? You wonder these questions.
Well, it's sort of obvious. I won't know from the beginning. I'm not going to say from the beginning of how everything started, but I'll say It's the it was the question is kind of was answered in question in episode 1 with what's that dude's name? Loki's not the first variant. He's asked to help him.
Well, I think it's clear. Like as far as, and this is again something I was sort of thinking about was, well, how the hell did they get on Loki so quickly? But because if you think about what they were talking about, which is,
Hmm.
if you're a variant, you can cause a branch, and if it redlines, blah blah blah. That's their reason for doing things, right? But it's also clear. Like I wasn't paying a huge attention, but this last episode, I really kind of understood because Sylvie's a variant. How did she get to live years as a variant? I mean, she's been on the run for years, but she was a kid when they brought her to the TVA the first time, and she's grown now. So, how did she live that long, right, to become a grown up? Another question is when you see and the Miss Minutes talking about variants and why they have to round them up and everything like that, you notice that they show the variant going from just walking away from his job to becoming like a great leader or some kind of you know thief or something like it. Just turn into different things, right?
Hmm.
So I think it's pretty clear that they're just due to sheer numbers, the number of variants that are possible are pretty huge, right? And
Hmm.
so most likely they don't spend a lot of time monitoring every single person on the planet Earth or wherever. They don't spend a lot of time monitoring what these people are doing. They're looking for certain fluctuations in like their the readings.
And
And
if they
so
catch you, they
yeah,
catch you.
and so a person could become a variant and live for a while. They could
Yeah.
live a while and become this totally different person than in the sacred timeline. They could in fact become the next Hitler or the next, Mother Teresa or somewhere or Einstein, whatever the hell, and live for many years and then become like this totally divergent person. And then when they become too divergent, their whole timeline has to be cleansed, et cetera, et cetera. So that could explain why there are so many different, so many that would explain why Captain America could go live in an alternate reality because he doesn't redline it. He doesn't get it close to redline, so they don't even fuck
Yeah.
with it, right? But
Yeah.
but people like Loki, who have been shown, according to Mobius, is one of the most the most captured and executed variants possible, that have happened in all of existence. They probably have a particular close watch on him, so that's why they got to him immediately, as opposed to, you know, other people that are
Yeah.
allowed to live years. So that's my theory at least, and also I suspect that they do not recruit people like Loki to the TVA. They recruit
No.
regular ass people because regular people don't have ambitions like Loki.
Yeah, like the person who showed up late to work. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Eugene. Eugene's sitting there, with a box full of fucking Infinity Stones because he doesn't have
Hmm.
the ambition to go out of it to leave the TVA.
With those
And
Infinity
yeah,
Stones and
and be
fuck
and,
up
yeah,
universes.
exactly. And more to the point, it's clear that the TVA working in the TVA means that you won't die in the number of years you think you should. So
Yeah.
it's, I mean, how old is Mobius? How old is Eugene? How old is Renslayer? Who knows? See, Agent C-20 is over 200 years old. So I mean,
Hmm.
that was an interesting revelation. I think. I'm trying to think. Was there wasn't a whole lot of major spoilers. A lot of it was just the two of them sitting and talking and kind of comparing notes or whatever. I think there was some bonding, if you will, between all of them. We also found out that Tom Hiddleston can fucking sing in Norwegian. So
Hmm.
and he is a true Asgardian because only an Asgardian would break a fucking mug because they want some more drink. So that was a fun
Another.
that was a fun little callback, by the way. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed that. Um, like I said, not a huge amount of spoilery stuff. Just like fun little bits, like they're on a planet that's about to. They're on a moon that's about to run. That's about to run into a planet or whatever. And they've got like 12 hours to get from one place to the other. So apparently the magic doesn't work there. So I don't know. The magic works, but apparently it doesn't work well enough to prevent somebody from flying. Like, why don't y'all fly? You have magic. Use it. Like, it's like when,
Can he fly?
why
I
couldn't
know
he?
I know he stopped a building from
I
collapsing.
mean, he fucking, yeah. He can fucking, why can't he fly is a better question. You can do all this other magic. Frigga didn't tell you how to fucking fly. I mean, it's like Harry Potter. In Harry Potter, he's like, we're freezing cold. What are we gonna do? I don't know. Cast fire. You have magic. Use it for something. Anything. That's some. I have to admit, some of the stuff it does bug me a little bit about the show, where I'm just like, you have magic? What is it supposed to do? Is it? It's just you glamour yourself. That's it. That's the extent of your magic. You can shoot fucking fireworks out of your hand. Well, congratulations, you're Jubilee, the most useless X-Men ever. I like Jubilee, but she's useless as shit. Her powers are stupid. Um,
Unfortunately.
yeah. What I did like about this episode that for some reason Loki remembered how to fight this in this episode. But he's getting his ass whooped like hard last episode. Then he's like, aha, now I'm the swashbuckler because I fought next to the Warriors 3. And then
he just needed his memory to be.
and then he gets thrown
again.
out a window by some randos. I'm like,
How
oh.
to?
I was like, what's happening right? I'm like, what is happening?
And he put up no fight.
I'm like, can he fight or not? Which one is it? Like,
I gotta admit that looked bad to me. That looked like usually when it comes to like choreographing and stuff like that. I usually am not the one that really gets too picky, but that one looked bad. He went from whooping their ass to these guys just grabbing him and just going, "Where are you guys taking me?" Ooh.
That's just like I almost wanted
bad.
to be like his. I almost wanted to be like, is Vince McMahon over there telling him to throw the fight or something? What the hell? What's happening right
bad.
now?
That one looked bad.
In the same fight, the same little bar fight, Sylvie, who's been kicking the shit out of like TVA agents, suddenly can't take one dude. I'm like, man, are you serious? She get one,
and that
one
dude,
guy.
and that dude throws him out. I was just like,
I'm like one.
I said the same
yeah.
thing, and I was just like, this whole show, she's been whooping to ass and taking names, and then she just gets thrown out by one guy. At least Loki, it took two people. For her, I was just like, if y'all wanted them to get kicked off the train, you could have had part of the train blow up or something.
You know? And not like it would matter. Literally everybody on the planet's gonna fucking die. So like, who cares? Yeah, I watched that whole bit and I was like, oh, finally Loki's got hands. Oh, wait a minute, no, he doesn't. Not in what is it? I'm like, come on, man, y'all are doing this. This is what's the opposite of plot armor? Like plot debuffing or something like that. Again, dude literally fought for 1,000 years next to the Warriors 3 and Thor and Sif. 5 of the greatest fucking warriors that Asgard has. He fought side by side with them, and he can't fucking take a few people out.
Yeah.
What is that? I mean, what?
It looks bad. It really does look bad. At this point, I'm not gonna even like disagree or anything. It looks bad. This is.
But
I'm
gonna say I have an explanation though. I got an explanation. Well, I can't explain how shitty he fought in episode 2. But I have an explanation that may work. Speculation. This is not, I mean, you may have even seen the speculation.
Mm-hmm.
Is Loki in an enchantment? Or is Sylvie in an enchantment? Just think about that. Do you remember that she tried to use her enchantment on Loki? And he's like, what the hell are you doing? It's like, you can't enchant me. My mind's too strong.
Yeah.
or is it? Was that whole thing? Ask yourself this: did any of that episode actually happen?
You know, you make a good point because how are they going to get off the planet after it blew up? And I said that thinking that you don't know. They might both be stuck in an enchantment. You know,
I just
but like you,
wonder. I mean, it could be that she's enchanted him, and he's like, "You can't enchant me. I'm too smart for you." And then he's totally in an enchantment. It would make sense if she was the one that did it to him, because supposedly he doesn't know how to do the magic that she's doing, at least not to the extent that she can. But if that's true, he could be enchanted right there. And since she's been to that particular planet before, literally everything in there she could recreate from her own memory. Then again, Loki, if he was pretending like he didn't know how to do the enchantment like she is, he probably could have done the same by digging through her memories.
You don't know. She might be thinking she's enchanting him. He
it's like a double layer, like in
This shit,
Naruto,
this
a
shit
double layer
sound,
Genjutsu.
yeah, this shit sounds like fucking Inception. Like we're on the 3rd level, we're on the 8th level where time is passing super super slow.
She might be enchanting him. Like she started off enchanting him, and then now he's enchanting her. You know what I mean? It's like you said, she's in his mind, but his mind is enchanting her. It's like double layered enchantment,
Right.
double layered genjutsu.
Yeah. It's something to think about. And it also would explain something else that happens, which is kind of ridiculous. Namely, that they break the fucking time, the fucking time machine, the little card thing. Now, I'm just gonna. It seems a little convenient. Just seems it's like, oh, well, they hit me really hard. Why don't you have this very vital piece of equipment? Well, there's two things. One, why on earth would any TVA device be so easily broken? That's one. Number two, could you put it anywhere a little more defensible than that?
But then I asked myself this: couldn't he just fix it with his own magic?
I mean, well, I don't think his magic works that way. I mean, there's some limitations to it, I think, but
no, it's not. He held a building together.
Well,
put it back up. And remember, he put it back up.
Yeah, true that. But
he could probably fix it. You don't know. He might be just messing with her.
Yeah, there's some unexplained stuff in there. But I was just looking like, well, that's awfully convenient that you broke the thing that you needed to get the hell away from the planet. And I did enjoy the whole, well, shit, we're gonna change time now by we're gonna go hijack that ark and go to and get the fuck off of this planet. And just to see the whole, no, you're not. You're really not gonna. Trust me, it's not happening. That was fun times. It's that whole ending sequence was pretty fucking interesting. It seemed like a one take rush around. Only thing I didn't like about that sequence is it felt like they were running around the same little square. Like I was like, this looks like a set, and like a small set at that. Like you're running, it's kind of like, you remember when you play Assassin's Creed, and every fucking bazaar or alley or whatever looks this fucking same, and you're just like, you think you're in a big city, but if you look close enough, you're like, nah, I'm in the same fucking alley I was in before. It felt like that. And all that said, it was still fun. They were beating the shit out of those people. Loki was like, "Oh yeah, I can fight. Let me do it this time." And they had, for some reason, they were kung fu fighting while there was meteors and literally a planet about to crush everything.
See, another thing that kind of like a little bit bothered me in the movie. Remember how they started off inside of a building and meteors were crashing through it, and then they ran away to just go into another building, and I was just like, "What?"
Well,
just like,
I took that to be that it's a more heavily armored little sub, power station or some shit like that. Um, yeah, it's look. Don't look too deeply into this episode as far as like there's a lot of silliness in it. That silliness that I accept because it's Loki. I mean, if there isn't some
Yeah.
silliness, why not? There are some really good, character moments, like when they're talking about what love is and all that. There's the part you were talking about where Loki is not just you know gender identity fluid. He's also pansexual apparently, and so is
Yeah.
Sylvie. So it's like they really are. They were trying to find out: are we actually the same people? I look like Loki, obviously. Who the fuck are you? Well,
Yeah,
that
what
really,
makes Loki a
yeah,
Loki? What
yeah.
makes you think you're the original and I'm not the original? You
Or
know what I
yeah,
mean?
I think they both know we're not whatever the original is. They're
But
Loki's.
The original Loki got his neck snapped by
Yeah,
Thanos,
as
unfortunately.
far as they know, the Loki that Sylvie is a different one because, to my knowledge, she wasn't raised by Frigga.
Hmm.
So, but it's I mean it's in other words they're presenting a tantalizing picture of who Loki could possibly be, and if there's anything unfortunate about this episode is that one, there's not enough time to really kind of dig a little deeper, but also two, she's probably not going to survive this show. So it's even we're going to be poorer for the fact that we won't get to actually see more of her beyond the next few episodes. So that kind of
Yeah.
sucks, but it is what it is. You know how Marvel is. If you're a villain, you're
Mm.
not going to live. You're not going to live very long. You don't get to go to the raft, or in this case, you don't get to become a member of the TVA. And to be honest, I don't think she plans to be a member of the TVA. She wants to bring that bitch down, and I'm putting money on Sylvie. I think she can do it. So
Yeah.
we're gonna see.
Need
That's all the spoilery shit I talk about. Like I said, it wasn't really much in it. It's just a lot of exposition, a lot of character development, not much plot for moving forward. So we
No.
just know those guys may or may not be getting crushed by a planet soon. So I'm voting probably not, but
I just like how the planet, like when it's getting closer, its mouth opened up like it was about to eat them.
oh, it's probably Galactus. See, Galactus confirmed. Fantastic Four right there.
But real talk, that might be Galactus.
It's
For
probably
all we know.
Galactus confirmed. I'm just
Or
calling it right
Unicron.
now. Yes, yeah,
Or-
it's Annihilation Wave. That's what it is. That's
Oh, speaking of which, this really gives me like, this is sort of off topic, but on topic at the same time. So, recently Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart came out, right? Different universes. So, in this Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, it pretty much confirmed that every single PlayStation exclusive game is all connected by different universes.
okay. Okay.
Yeah,
The TVA is gonna be like, we have something to say about this.
So the TV, it'll be funny if the TVA just all of a sudden goes into a timeline where there's Transformers or the Justice League. They see the Avengers or the Justice League. Wait.
We gotta kill them all.
Why is Captain America wearing a cape?
Yeah, they're gonna be like, yeah, we gotta kill all these people. It's clearly variants. So
Then they get pimp slapped by Superman and they realize, no, it is.
well, we could get into that all day. Yeah, I think I don't know. Did you have any more thoughts on it before we wrap the segment up?
No.
Yeah,
Maybe we're forgetting something, but from what I saw in the episode, we pretty much caught it.
yeah.
You know,
A lot of it, like I said, was just. I mean, there's they got on the train. There's clear like references to what's the Snowpiercer and Hunger Games and shit. I get it. They're referencing things. It's
oh my
it's
God, I
fine.
just realized that too.
Yeah, it's okay. Rich people get to get off planet. Oh, except they don't. you guys are all dying. So,
They were the first ones to die too. That's the hilarious part.
well, I mean, I'd rather die quickly because I mean your whole planet's getting run into. So hey,
Nah, I'd rather be able to get it on before. No, get it on before the planet ends. Not thinking that I'm gonna just take a nap and be like, wake me up when we're off planet. Then boom. Nah, I'd rather go out with the last nut. You know.
oh man, I don't think that a lot of these people are like, well, that's that. So, but anyway, those been our thoughts on Loki episode 3, Lamentus, and
Oh, real quick, by the way, I just figured to remember the name, the Greek god of night, Morpheus.
that Morpheus. Well, why not?
Yeah,
Will he be in Shazam? Probably not.
yeah, probably not.
But yeah, so those are our spoiler free. Those are our spoiler thoughts, our complete thoughts about Loki episode 3, entitled Lamentus. So, what did you guys think about this episode, and what did you think about our commentary? Why don't you get down into the comments? Let us know what you're thinking, and of course, you can reach us at SuperNotFunnyS1 on Twitter or SuperNotFunnyShow@gmail.com. Hit us up. We can chop it up, talk about Loki, and get ready for that next episode. And also, hey, are you a member of the Super Not Funny Show family? Well, you're not. Well, what the hell are you doing? Why don't you improve your life? Go hit that subscribe button. And while you're down there, hit the notification bell so it lets you know when we drop new content. We do that every week. New reviews, new reactions, anything else that floats our pop culture boat, like the SUPER-CAST that you're listening to. And hey, Lottie, man, dude, I know you're hard at work working on your video games and video game concepts and everything like that. Why don't you let the listeners know how they can get in touch with you on your socials?
Oh yeah, if you want to check out my video game characters, you can check out my YouTube channel, KiniHun25. It is KINIHUN 25, and my Instagram, which is AnuKiniHun, ANUKINIHUN. I should have some new content up soon. Just need to get some funds up to buy some of these assets.
All right. Well, hope you can do that soon. Everybody go check out Lottie's his different socials, his YouTube and everything like that. Subscribe, show some love. Hit out some comments. Let him know what you're thinking about what he's doing, and he'll appreciate that. All right, all you Fabricans and Fleshbags, thanks once again for joining us on the SUPER-CAST for this week. We really appreciate you joining us. Hope you had a good time. I know I had a good time talking about this episode. I can't wait to get back next week to talk about Loki episode 4. So, I've been Mo de Poupée, your resident Fabricant and commenter extraordinaire on all things pop culture, joined by the anime expert, lover of all video games, and of course, a superhero aficionado, my good friend Lottie. Thanks again for joining to talk with me today. And until next time, we'll see you guys on the other side of the thread. Peace.
See ya.